Okay, hi. All right, hi guys. I'm Mel. I know so many of you guys on here, so it makes me so happy because it's like one big happy family. But like I said, I'm 20 years young. I go to a school in like the Pocono Mountains. It's about like 2 hours away from Philadelphia, so I'm up north. Um, but I found this opportunity a little bit over a year ago, just watching someone post about a flyer. I actually was a customer for 5 months. And I was like, all right, what the heck am I doing? I could literally be doing exactly what these girls do while building exactly what I wanted to
So,
be building.
the
And
list that came.
at the time, I was super, super insecure. I had no confidence at all. And I'll be talking a little bit about that today and how that goes into mindset. But you guys, though I could not even speak in front of people. Like I would purposely skip class or go to the nurse's office to not speak in front of people or to not go to school. So like when I tell you guys like I this business changed my life. It really did change my life, and I'm just so grateful that Adriana invited me for her mindset call. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yes, I love it. So throw one in the chat if you've never heard from Mel before. We want to see who we're talking to. And if you have, throw a two in the chat. We want to see some interaction. Yay.
Yay.
Okay, perfect. So Mel, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I know that other people are dying to hear from you, especially with mindset. But what does a winning mindset in general mean to you?
Yeah. So, all right, a winning mindset, you guys, for me, mindset is everything. If you can master mindset or at least be like consciously being like, hey, I need to get better at it, you will excel in all parts of life. And I swear I'm testimony to that because I had such a poor mindset before this business, you guys. Like I said, I was super insecure. I did not believe in myself. I was super shy. I didn't like network marketing. I was like, what is that? Okay. So that winning mindset is being able to be the best version of you every single day, you guys, and who you want to be in this world, in this life, and what you want to do with money. And it's really just choosing at the moment to do those things that are going to take you to that next level, and still choosing that anyway, despite of how you feel that day. And I take accountability with how you feel, and I'll go into that. But it's important to choose that person that you want to become, right? And I always refer to like your higher self, and it's so important because you want to be choosing who you want to be every single day, no matter how hard that may feel in the moment. Doing those things every day and being conscious of those things every day is going to move you into that winner's mentality, and lack of a better word, like that loser's mentality. And you guys, I'll be super vulnerable with you guys. Like I said, like I did not have this winner's mentality, and I'm still working on it. But it's about being conscious and just being like, hey, how can I get better? Because if we're not thinking about it, then we're probably not doing something about it. And real quick to add something as well, like it takes part with even our past, you guys. Like I learned a lot when I joined this business, that I had a lot of little things that I had to better myself with in order to perform in my business. And that comes from like little traumas in my past. And I realized like, hey, like we have to rewire our brain. We have to rewire our mindset to believe in ourselves and to love ourselves, to be more confident in ourselves. And like I said, it's being conscious of that, of being like, all right, what things like, maybe are triggering me? What things are maybe making me feel this way? And that's why I love network marketing and Money, you guys. It's because it's not only about the business, and we can only excel when our mind is also there, right? And it's a reflection of everything. It goes into our daily life. It goes into for me, it goes into my school life. It goes into my discipline in and out of the business. And if you can master that, if you can master that mindset in all parts of life, there's no doubt that you're going to be able to have that winner's mentality in your business.
I love that. I love that, Mel. Thank you, Sel, for being the only one with your camera on, always showing out. But I love that you brought that up, Mel, and I love all the things that you said. And guys, you have to really be thinking with a winning mindset, not just what goal are you going after, because we all have goals, but what God-sized goal are you going after? Like, what are the bigger goals that you are so scared to even say out loud that you're going after? That is how you define that winning mindset, because you know that mindset that is going to take you towards that God-sized goal is only going to be winning. Okay, yes, you're going to fail sometimes. Yes, you're going to get caught up in a intersection and you're like, where the heck do I go? I'm so lost. I've been traveling all this way. I didn't get this far just to get this far. That's the winning mindset that you should have. But we're going to go into a little bit of tangibles. So Mel, what are 3 steps or 3 things that you do on a daily basis to help yourself get set up for a winning mindset for the day?
Yeah. So real quick, actually, if I can just add on to something that you were saying, you guys, like, you know, it's choosing what you don't feel like doing, right? So like I wrote something down and it really stuck out to me. Like, winners will see an opportunity and they're not going to see a burden in something. Winners are going to see that challenge versus that problem. You know, I had maybe like a month, like last month, I had like 2 customers who returned their products, like literally on the same day. And I could have seen that as like a, oh, like a challenge or like a problem in my business, and I didn't. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go make that VIP, what is a VIP thing, IGTV, so that I can better, you know, people into knowing, hey, what is a VIP? So it's turning those challenges into an opportunity, instead of seeing it as a hurdle. But okay, so some of the things that I like to do, you guys, I don't know about you guys, maybe you guys can drop a 1 if you are an empath and you like feel a lot. Like I can probably cry a lot about just about anything. I can just be around someone and be like, oh my goodness, like I know how you feel. I can just feel that energy. And that is something actually really early on in my business that kind of made me feel almost stagnant, because I was like, oh my goodness, like, you know, I'm helping people grow their team, I'm helping them with all of this, and I was like, I feel like so much energy, right? So what I allow myself to do is, you know, and then this is not only about like the empath part, but I allow myself to feel, but I don't let it consume me. I don't let it, you know, take over me to the point where I feel like I'm just still. And, you know, something that I do is journaling, you guys. I have my little journal that I take out literally in the morning and at night. And physically being able to write out how I feel has helped so much. So much, because it's like literally putting your problems that you have in here physically out into this reality, into this realm, and you're able to put it somewhere. So yeah, like Adriana was saying, you have to allow yourself to feel, but don't let it consume you. So every time I feel like I'm being consumed, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I grab my journal and I just write out how I feel. And I, you know, I move from that. I don't know if any of you guys were at Monations or, you know, watched it online, but something I've been doing is that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 by Mel Robbins. And then I'll literally just move. Like I said, I'm still working on my discipline and stuff. So if I'm not getting up early in the morning, let's say I have a class or something, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I know I could be working my business now. I know I could get a good breakfast in. I do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I just move, because whatever, like, you know, that the physical feeling that I'm feeling, it's literally consuming me. So if I'm able to move out of that, it helps so much. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 has been a game changer. Yeah, it really, really helps. And that's training your mind to have that winner's mentality. And then something else, you guys, that I do, again, because I told you guys that I was never the best at discipline, but it's something that I'm working on, is making little to-do lists. So a lot of us, like, you know, we're like, okay, let's hit this big goal, let's do all these things. But if we don't have those things that we are like doing, like the little things in our life, then how are we expecting to do these big things? So, you know, in the beginning of my business, you guys, I couldn't even make my bed. Like I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't even like do these little tiny things that I was like, dang, like if I'm not doing that, how can I run a business? How can I lead a team? So I wrote out a list. I'd grab like my journal or a notebook paper, and I'd be like, make my bed. I'd be like, make sure you get your breakfast and your lunch in. Make sure you listen to a podcast, little things like that. And when I started being able to cross off those things, I was like, okay, like I can do these things, right? Because if we start at really, really big things, how do we expect to do those if we can't do the small? And you're going to train yourself to instill more confidence in yourself, because you're going to be like, yeah, I can do this. You can keep doing it. And once you master that, then you move on to next goals. You'll do day by day goals, week by week goals. Then you're able to do monthly goals. And then you're able to, you know, master all those things. And then lastly, I will never miss like a podcast once a day. I love podcasts ever since the beginning. When they were like, take it seriously, I was like, I'm gonna take it seriously, because clearly it's working for them and I want it to work for me. So always, yes, choose your personal development and be serious about it, be intentional about it. Early on in my business, I would just play it to play it. And there's a difference between playing it to play it and playing it to really listen and let that consume you, right? So I kind of write down, like, you know, what I learned and what I can improve on, things that maybe I can add on. So let's say my podcast was today was actually about the winning mindset. I was I don't know if you guys know like the mindset mentor, but he was talking about the winning mindset. So I'd write down stuff and I'm like, all right, how can I add this on to my life? Right? Because the point of personal development isn't just to hear it, but it's to, you know, make it move you so that you can see those results, right? But yeah, those are like 3 things that I make sure that I do every single day: little to-do list, journal, and a podcast.
I love that. And guys, these are just some tangibles that work for Mel. Just like she said, a podcast a day. If you guys love to read, if you guys are always on the go, maybe podcasts are great for you. If you guys find yourself, you know, quote unquote bored or having nothing to do at home, maybe reading books are for you. Maybe watching motivational videos are for you. Whatever works for you, just stick with it, right? I know that there's so many resources that are sent into the team chats, whether they're podcasts, motivational videos, all the things. Those are just there for those people who are serious about it, right? It's not like, oh, I have to listen to all these things. Just like Mel said, she found herself kind of just listening to it just to listen to it. And there's such a difference between hearing something and listening to something. When you listen to something, you get visual with it in your head. When you're listening to something, it moves you physically, right? So, and I love the way that you brought up doing the things you don't want to do, because that is an entire like foundation of a winning mindset, because you know you're going to do something that's going to make you feel uncomfortable today. You're going to do something that's a little bit different that probably scares you, but it's necessary to grow. So I want you guys to think about, what unbreakable habit are you trying to change? And this is where it's going to get really real, right? Because you have the same things that you're trying to fix on yourself every month, every week, every day, but you find it like, this is just who I am. This is just how I work. This is just how it is. This is just what I'm used to. This is just what's always going to be for me. What unbreakable habit are you trying to change? And when you get to recognize what that is, you all of a sudden, like Mel says, starts to do your to-do list, starts listening to your personal development, start doing those little steps to get you back to that God-sized goal that we were talking about, right? So tackle the long-term goal by winning the moment in front of you. And a winning mindset, to me, it means all these things. And that's why I wanted Mel to come in and pour into you guys and teach it on her perspective, because everyone thinks differently, right? Everyone's thought processes are different. That was a tongue twister. But just make sure that you are handling the moment in front of you, right? Because we get so overwhelmed by yesterday's mistakes and then feel underqualified from tomorrow's opportunities that we are willing to quit before even starting. And I'm not just saying quit your business, quit doing this, quit your 9 to 5, quit that little task that you just put for yourself on that to-do list, on that sticky note, on your whiteboard, on your planner, and you quit before even doing it. I wanted to do an IGTV today about how to wash your hair for my VIPs. And then you start quitting before even starting because you feel your mistakes from yesterday are holding you back, and now you're underqualified for tomorrow, so you're behind. How many times do we find ourselves in this middle position? A lot, every day. right? But when you take the moment you have, you can't feel behind and you can't feel underqualified for it, because you still have the chance to change that, right? So not just large tasks, short-term tasks. And so many people are feeling overwhelmed by so many things that you just start getting paralyzed by the things you can't change, which is the past, and you feel crippled by the things you can't control, which is the future, right? So here's a solution. Let go of the dead yesterday, right? And the unborn tomorrow, because today you get to live. And if you're living and if you're feeling fulfilled with what you're doing, with how you're living, then that's a winning mindset. If you take that carried on to tomorrow, today will be your yesterday, which will be a better yesterday, which will lead to a better tomorrow, right? So Mel, one more question for you before I start preaching like a crazy man. So you talked about what things that you do or steps that you do on a daily basis, but I want to talk about the things that you come across when you find yourself at a red light story, a limiting belief of yourself, and you found yourself on this winning streak, because it happens to all of us. We get 2 VIPs, 3 VIPs, we get our market partner, we get active on day 2, we get our 500 PV on day 5, and you're on a winning streak, right? And then you come to this kind of like forefront to fear or limiting belief or red light story. So how do you shift your mindset? Like, what things do you do to get your winning mindset back, technically?
Yeah. So so for example, you guys, let's say, all right, so I earned Vegas like last year when we went, or I guess like last April, and I felt like I was on a high, right? And I'll be super vulnerable with you guys. After that, my business was, let's say, like low, like I wasn't, getting to the places I wanted to be and all of that. And I was getting mad. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I not doing something right? Like, what am I doing, you guys? And I learned that, you guys, we don't learn when we're at the top of the mountain. We learn when we are in the valleys. Okay. We learn when we are at that low, and we have to figure out then, okay, like, how can I learn from this? Because so many of us see our failures as this terrible thing, when really we can be learning from our failures, so that when we are going our way back up that mountain, we're able to be like, hey, I got through that. So all my limiting beliefs, and like I deal with them every single day, you guys, but it's a matter of choosing that winner's mentality of being like, let me keep going, right? Because when I said this in last week's call, but when the vision is clear, you guys, you will keep going, right? There is no plan A, no plan B. And I think that, the failures and everything like that, those limiting beliefs that come in, that's where you learn the most. And that's the most beautiful thing about this business, is that you get to learn from your failures. It's not like you lose your job, you get to learn from them and just become a better person, become a better mentor. And then you're able to tell your girls, your team, hey, I was at this rut. I felt like I was at this complete low and I was never going to get out. But it's about facing whatever it was, facing that limiting belief that you have and tackling it. Because for the longest time, you guys, I would run away from my limiting beliefs. I wouldn't do anything about it. I would just be like, I don't want to deal with it, right? I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to go through that. But when you decide to go through those limiting beliefs and figure out why you're feeling that way, figure out why you are that way, why you're not as disciplined, why you don't feel like you're worthy, is when you start figuring out, okay, like, hey, I can get through those limiting beliefs. Hey, I can do these things. I don't know if that answered the question, but
yeah, I mean, guys, like, she's saying things that we've probably heard before, right? But it's the way that she says it, her perspective and her story attached to that hits us different, right? So when you guys run into these red light stories on that winning streak, and guys, when I say winning streak, I don't mean just production. Okay, you don't have to have the highest PV, highest GV, highest MP, VIP recruitment, earning all these things. A winning streak on your mental health, A winning streak on A for effort every single day. A winning streak on you being a bomb-ass mom and a wife and a business owner all at the same time. And then boom, you look at your back office and you're like, oh, I'm behind. How can I make this for tomorrow to be better? Right? So we're always looking at the past. We're always looking at the future. We're never looking at right now. And when you guys start looking at right now, your gratitude level will go so high, and it makes something that you're thinking about in a negative perspective, you actually find the good in it. And instead of a half empty, now you have a half full, right? So instead of fixating on the things that lie dimly at the distance, concentrate what lies clearly at hand. Okay? What can I do today to get myself moving, to get myself back on track, right? So simply put, focus on inputs instead of outputs, okay? What am I gonna put into my business today? What am I gonna put into myself today? What am I gonna put into my team today, right? And I'm not just talking about business. You guys have to realize this opportunity is not a job. We get to do this. Okay, we don't have to do it, which means now it's a part of your lifestyle. So when you start thinking about all these goals and all these to-do lists and all these things, you're only thinking about the business, and then you wonder why you can't keep track of your time management and you can't keep track of all these things going on, and then you feel exhausted. It's because you're not doing the same thing for yourself, for your personal life. My whiteboard in my room is color coordinated. And all my money is red. All my personal is black. If I have birthdays, it's blue. So I know exactly what's happening in my life, and I know exactly where I'm going, what I have to do, right? So when you're talking about all these things about winning mindset, do you just see your business, or do you actually look at your life, right? So how do you win today? You win the next 24 hours. And how do you do that? For starters, define what's important now. Define what's important now to you and start prioritizing that. And when you prioritize the things that are actually important to you, your business will follow. Okay? So what's important for you guys today? What's important for you guys now? If you guys are taking notes, write that out. Okay, identify the lead measures you're gonna take to actually get that goal. And then you wanna establish daily rituals that will make your life more meaningful and fulfilled. So again, going into what Mel said and going into what I just said, you wanna listen to those podcasts, you wanna read that book, you wanna do your personal development, you wanna build your business, you wanna stay on track with your personal life, right? But stick to what's important now, prioritize that, and write down the things that are literally meaningful to you within this business, within your life, right? And the two will eventually tie in together. Isn't that amazing? Can I get an amen? I'm just kidding. But, you know, like just for example, like just meditating or texting someone a random thank you message. Thank you for believing in me. I'm so thankful to have you on this team. Not only in this team, in my life. You taught me so much, right? Or you're thinking about reaching for your phone the first second you wake up. This is a problem I've had to deal with and I'm still dealing with, right? Spending quality time with yourself, or with your husband, or with your children before you do that. Those are the things that really fulfill you, I hope, right? Of course those things do. So why are you leaving those things in the back burner? Because you're so ambitious, you want these big goals to happen. But why do you want these big goals to happen? And why are you so ambitious? Because of those things that actually fulfill you, right? People don't love doing something they're not fulfilled doing. So of course you're gonna get tired and have these red light stories like, is this for me? Like, is this really gonna work? Am I really meant for something more? It's because you've lost your fulfillment and you stopped prioritizing things that were important to you. And now you started living someone else's prioritizing list, okay? And truth is, that is what the truth is, okay? So if you wanna change your life, Start by changing your story. Start by changing your narrative. Start by changing what you're going to think about today, because that also matters. The first things that you think about and how you're setting your day up is going to affect the rest of your day and how you physically set the rest of your day up, right? So to end this off, I'm gonna hand it back to you real quick, but we have 8 minutes left. We're gonna be good. So live your life in a way that is worth telling stories about, right? We always hear all these stories about people and how they found success, not only in this business, but because they found success in this business, they found success in their personal life. And every single story that is worth telling doesn't only involve the success, right? The story worth telling is the story you don't want to tell right now. It's the story of your lows. It's the stories that you don't want to share, right? That's what makes a good story. So hold on to it, because just like Mel says, you're not going to find growth at the peak. You're going to see what success was or is, or it's going to become for you because you went through the growth in your trenches, right? So when you think about it, the movies that make you feel, the commercials that make you cry, or, you know, feel in general, those all have a story. And it's not just the success that moves us, it's how people got out of that and where they are because of it. So know that you are brave. And when you are brave, that is someone else's breakthrough. When you are brave to step up and share your story the day you do, is someone else's breakthrough to relate or to help their girl on their team that hasn't been active because she's going through something, but they don't know what it is, right? But because they got their girl on the team call, you got to tell your story. And that story was the one worth telling that you don't want to tell now, and that's okay, right? Just like Mel said, she went to Vegas, she was on a high, she came back, she's like, oh my gosh. And now she just told that story because it's going to help somebody else, right? You're going to be like, dang, like I feel her right now. This call is lit. Like this call is so good. I need to listen to this. Where's the recording, right? So have courage and have a 10x effort, right? We always say A for effort. If you're one who isn't marking for your production, like if you're one that's just like, girl, my energy is always on high. I might not be on the leadership boards, but my energy is always on high, or vice versa, right? Getting all those tangibles done for your day, all those to-do lists and all these things. How about instead of production, how about you rate your effort for that day? Rate your effort for that day. And if it's not an A, that's why. That's why you have to do more than what you're doing now if you want to go to a place you've never been, right? So you always have to go through it. Go through it. You can't go around it, go through it. That story that's waiting for you on the other side, you're not going to be able to get it because it's connected to the struggle you're supposed to go through. You're supposed to go through. So you might not be responsible for the things or circumstances that you're in or you're going through right now, but you are responsible. So you're not responsible, you're responsible. You might not be able to control what's happening to you, but you can control what if, will do, will become for you. I know that was on top of my head. I don't know if that made sense, right? You are literally in control of the response of the thing that's you're not responsible for. So you may be in a circumstance that you find yourself impossibly getting a way out, but you are responsible for that response that you're going to have after that happens. So tackle the long-term goal by winning the moment. If you want to change your life, start by changing your story. Always have a 10x effort. Be the narrator of your life, and that includes not only how it's going to be, but how it's going to be done. And I promise you guys are going to have such a strong story that even you will cry, because one day it's going to literally feel like it all happened and you're like, oh my gosh, like me, I'm gonna have a 3-year anniversary with this business this month, and I'm literally like, 3 years where? This all happened out of nowhere. I don't remember any of the things that really caught me in the trenches because it got me here, right? So remember that when you're in a red light story, when you're on a winning streak and you're like, oh my gosh, I got this. What can I do today? If you feel behind, what can I do right now? If you feel like you can't reach tomorrow's goals, what can I do tonight before I lay my head down? So I am so confident that when tomorrow I wake up, I'm going to start reaping the harvest that I've sown. So Mel, there's 3 minutes left. You can add to that or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, no, I love everything that you just said, you guys. It's so like, it's so truthful what Adriana said, and like just taking responsibility for you guys. And again, I'll be vulnerable. I did not take responsibility for my lack of for the longest time, you guys, and Monate literally showed me that. But it's about just not looking everywhere else and being like, hey, what can I do today? How can I make myself better, before trying to blame everybody in the whole world as to why it's not working or as to why you're like this way, you guys. I'm not responsible, like Adriana was saying, but I'm not responsible for the people who made me feel some type of way. But I am sure as hell responsible for how I'm going to respond to that and how I'm going to keep moving every single day. Because at the end of the day, you guys, it's up to you. You know, winning is up to you. Your mentor can't want it for you. I mean, they will, but your mentor can't want it more for you. You need to want it for you so that you can look back and be like, yeah, I did that. I won. You know, I won with that winning mentality, and I went through the highs and lows, and I love the lows, you guys, because we really have to learn to love the freaking lows, because that's where we're going to learn. And I told you guys, I never learned I loved Vegas, right? What a blessing. But I didn't learn anything from it, right? You don't learn from the wins. You learn from when you're in the deepness of, oh my goodness, like, how am I going to get out of this? How can I face my fears? How can I do all these things? That's where you're going to learn. You're not going to learn when you hit that promotion. You're just going to learn how to pop a champagne bottle. I don't know, right? You're not going to learn anything other than, hey, that's what it's like to win. But you're going to learn in those lows, you guys. And we have to remember that the same habits aren't going to produce new results, you guys. I love that Adriana said one of the quotes, because I have it on my vision board and I've had it since day one. Every next level of your life is going to demand a different version of you. So we have to stop thinking, why is this not working? Because where you're going and where you're being called to is a different version of you. So we have to start embodying that. Yes, we have to start embodying that version of who we want to be, you guys, because it's not going to happen unless you want it to happen. You have to choose that winning mentality. Stay tunnel vision. Stop focusing on everybody else and focus on you and what you can do every single day.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mel. We have less than a minute. I'm cut off queen. The team knows this, but thank you guys so much for your time tonight. I hope that, you know, I poured value into you. I know Mel did. So go into your team chats, whatever they may be, even the big one, and say winning mindset or I am a winner. Okay. So have that winning mindset today, carried on tomorrow. Thank you again, Mel, for your time for tonight.